Rugby League is back. Drum roll, please.
You're a true Warriors fan.
I have no recollection of that hot take.
We don't all have to agree.
It's good to be back.
It's just a really boring thing.
Oh, partner.
Start winning some games.
I think there'll be a lot of changes to the team.
I've got them making the 8 for mine.
Let's go. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Advantage Line, TAB's Rugby League betting podcast. My name is Cal Tiley, joined yet again in studio by my good mate, Paul Mawate. Paul, she was a bloodbath out there last week for NRL punters.
Oh, certainly for me, yes.
For head-to-head punters, anyway.
Yeah, it was a very, very difficult round to pick, and I know that we'll get to that later on in the podcast, but boy, oh boy, she was a tough day. At least we finished on a high.
Absolutely, did so. Welcome in now, Teddy. Teddy, this seems like the longest farewell tour we've ever been through. You're still here. You're still here.
Bonjour à toi, ravi d'être de la rugby 13. Just practicing my French now. On the plane tomorrow. Farewell tour. What do you mean farewell tour? This is the Johnny Farnham comeback tour.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if you two know. I don't know if the New Zealanders know who Johnny Farnham is, but Blake certainly does.
Oh, gee, turn it up. Sadie, the cleaning lady.
Going back into his early catalogue, Paul. You must have been, 40 when that was released?
You're the voice.
No, it was a bloodbath for favourite punters last week, Carl, but it was an absolute fill-up for those who don't mind an underdog. It was tremendous.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I'm not sure you are coming back, Ted, but we'll keep that for later.
Won't be the first time I've heard that out of TAB New Zealand.
It won't be the last.
Oh, gee.
And our fourth man in this week, the great NRL legend, that is Blake Ashford. Ash, how we go, mate?
I'm going good, mate. Now I've found there's a new role going on the Advantage Line, so this could be a pilot. Hopefully perform well today, and the TAB power brokers are watching.
They are.
I can slide into Teddy's. I just got to come with some stats and some knowledge about the game.
There's always a room for a villain, Blake. I think you're too nice a guy, though.
Turning up in time, that'll really shoot you up the leaderboard, Blake, to be fair.
I've heard it all from the least punctual man in the least punctual country in the world.
All right, boys, we're going to rip straight into this. And Blake, you alluded to this just before we hit record. I've heard there's some rumours, some sicko Warriors fans talking about the Warriors about to make the biggest signing in their history. I'm not seeing or hearing a lot of this. Has anyone got any mail?
Teddy. Yeah,
the only thing I heard, Teddy, which is probably more rumour than trumour, was about Kalen Ponga, and he's not off till the end of 27. So I hardly see that happening. I don't know how it would work. And I'm not too sure. I can't see Daly Cherry Evans, the only one. I can't see him coming over at all. So I really don't know who's in play here.
Well, I only assumed that Blake Ashford was making a comeback. biggest comeback in Warriors history.
Trying to win it, not lose one.
I had heard rumours as well. I assumed Ponga. But I think he wants out of the Knights. But I hadn't really heard a connection with the Warriors. I'd only heard a connection with New Zealand Rugby. So, I'm not sure on that front. I don't. There's no club with less chance of getting Daly Cherry Evans than the Warriors. There's just I heard last week that the Dolphins are very confident they've got him. But even I'd be stunned if he moved to Queensland. He's got 3 kids in school. He's set up in Sydney for the last 15 years. I think he's going either the Roosters or the Dogs. But Ponga, I wouldn't be surprised because I think he's very keen to get over to New Zealand. So,
Tell you what, Warriors have got a truckload of money sitting there.
Do they?
They do.
Okay. but New Zealand dollars, right?
New Zealand one. But if he wants into New Zealand rugby, come play for the Warriors for a couple of years, get 1.5 per season, and then take a third of that for New Zealand rugby.
If he wants to play for the All Blacks, he should just go and play reserve grade winger for the Melbourne Storm, and he'll get handed a jersey. So
Here we go.
Shut up, man.
Yeah, I couldn't fit him in the grid this week, so no.
Before we move on, following on from that, I guess, who put you guys on the spot here? Apart from Blake Ashford, who was the biggest, or who has been the Warriors' biggest signing in their history so far?
this is easy for me. Steve Price.
Yeah, same.
Price. I thought he just changed the Warriors from being a Larry, fly by night sort of football to actually toughening up. And I thought it was a good year, and he got Brent Tate and a few others across as well. So, but for mine, Steve Price by a mile. Ruben obviously would be up there as well.
So do you just mean like the signing news, or actually what they've done in the Warriors jersey? There's two different things there. Because like I came across like Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, there's no bigger name than him really in the game at that stage. He'd won a comp with the Roosters. He was still young, so that was never really seen. Steve Price was a lot older when he came over, so was Ruben, where Roger came over as like, what I'm going to say, a 24, 25-year-old at the top of his game. So, I mean, that's a pretty big signing. Obviously, it hasn't worked out as much as everyone would have liked, but he is still there and come back. So, I mean, that's a huge signing. And the jury's still out. If he can deliver something here in a Warriors jersey when he gets back, or be a part of something, I think that's goes a long way to a big signing.
Shock news. Not a lot of the signings have worked out. We still don't have a premiership.
Steve Price with a special mention to Ruben Wiki and I think Kevin Campion. He really, but you got to go.
Say those three. Like Campion was the only one that played in the grand final for the Warriors.
Rugby league's greatest ever bleeder as well.
Well, what about?
No one could bleed like Kevin Campion did on the football field.
Michael Luck could.
He punched his brother-in-law.
He'd punch anyone.
I think we're skimming over someone as well, probably James Maloney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unlocked Sean Johnson, took him to a GF.
Yeah.
Even though they shouldn't have been there, but they got there, and he was a part of that. So that was a big signing.
We're talking a lot about the best signings. Why can't we have a real great segment?
No,
to the worst signings.
You have to do that when I'm off the camera setting. Can't do it to my face.
We're not going to get Ash Taylor to co-host the podcast. So I think we'll be fine.
I think one in terms of fanfare and excitement that probably didn't quite produce Sam Tompkins.
I reckon he got absolutely stitched up by everyone around his performance. I didn't think he was that bad. I thought he was a good, solid player, and there's a lot of people who kind of want to put him in lists of worst Warriors signings. I don't think anything like that. I thought he was a very good player for the Warriors.
I do too, but he was hyped up to be.
We're in a minority though. Like a lot of people consider him a failure.
Yeah. Anyway, alrighty. Betting. Personal punting in the weekend, fellas. Teddy, how'd you go?
Well, I came out well ahead, but I've still got plenty of bad bet stories, which is what everyone wants to hear. I'll start off with the boring stuff, the backdoor cover. Had the Dolphins plus 13.5 and Jake Averillo running the length of the field to score a try after having an absolute shocker. To cover the plus 13.5 was something special there from Jake, so well done. They had the ball, 50 tackles inside the Broncos red zone, and never once did I think, gee, these guys are going to score a try. It was just slow play of the ball after slow play of the ball, fired off to a roboted halfback and a 5'8" who doesn't want to get tackled. So got away with that one. But the two shocking beats for the weekend. Raiders Cowboys. Those early in the week took under 49.5, jumped 45.5. Full-time siren rings, it's 30-18. The Raiders get a penalty. And instead of trying to score a try or whatever, they take the 2 to lose from 12 to 10 and send the total over. So that is one of the worst all-time beats you will ever cop. That was all time. That was so bad I wasn't even upset. I thought the story's going to be worth this because I will never forget this. And then I limped into the Manly Seagulls minus 17.5. They should have been up by about 50. Turbo goes down. They're still winning by 20. And then Dylan Brown, who was unsighted for the entire game, puts a little grubber through for Sean Lane, who waltzes over untouched, and the minus 17.5 gets beat. So there you go. Always some bad beat stories from the weekend.
Wow.
How good. How'd you go, Blake?
Well, not bad beats. I got beaten down, almost sent to hospital just because of how bad my punting was. Every single game except the last one. I have now become a singles man though. It's taken me 20 years, but the multis are done with, and I had the only good luck from the weekend after down a lot. Had liquor at $10 any time.
Hey.
Hey!
And the Warriors at 1 to 12. So I obviously got, why didn't you multi them up? Well, because I would have lost if I had multi them up. Because I would have put something else in or something would have happened. So 2 single winners, but definitely down for the weekend from Thursday night. It was just terrific sighting. Just tipping, punting, everything.
Paul?
I don't have any of these bad beat stories because I didn't get close enough in any of my multis to actually. I just missed. I was way off the mark, and the only win I had was the final game of the round, just back in the Wars head to head in a single. I may be joining Blake in single man life.
See, there's some midlife crisis going on over here. Well, for you, Paul, a later life crisis.
Right.
You two making singles, what is going on?
I also took the single in the Warriors. Maybe we could make a thruple and get back into a multi. Take a single each and multi it together.
Speaking of which,
Well, hang on, I'm not done my stuff yet. He's up, pal. He's on the clock already. No, you've ruined it now. I don't need to. No,
Carl, you need to be forgiving of early onset dementia. So, just like,
yeah. No,
shut up, Fisky.
piss me off. Okay. Speaking of multis, I don't know if I've told Teddy this. I don't know if many people know this, but each week our best bets get lobbed into a multi on the TAB site and gets a little boost.
Bit of a boost.
Our multi hit last week, Teddy.
oh, fantastic! That's fantastic.
Thanks. Shout out to Jake Averillo for the Dolphins cover.
When do royalties get delivered? That's the.
Paul had the Bunnies to cover, and I had the Warriors head to head.
Oh, Phil.
There we go.
That would have been around.
Probably about $7 or $8.
No, that would have been over $8, I think, without a boost. I'm pretty sure.
With the Warriors, were what, 240?
235, I think.
35,
Yeah.
So yeah, keep an eye out for that this week.
What do we call it? Just the advantage line.
Probably.
Multi?
Yeah, makes sense.
Good name.
Is it going to be a forfer
Shout out to the marketing team.
this weekend? Hey,
Sorry.
is it going to be a forfer?
No, Blake only does singles.
Oh, right. Yeah.
No good in multis.
No more boundary smacking over here. Just drop it at the feet and run.
Yeah.
Big single.
Alrighty. How did we go on the pod? How'd the rest of the punting go?
Oh, crikey.
Have you done it?
Oh, have I done it? Come on. Hold on. Give me a minute.
He's done it, but he hasn't loaded up the spreadsheet for this exact time every week.
Righty-ho. Here we go. Blake, first of all,
Oh,
had 4 bets last week. Only one win. It was his best bet, the Wars, at $2.35.
Nice.
He had Katoa.
that was a try. That was a try.
That was a try.
Unfortunately, not. Young, Fafita, and Brimson all to score a try. No good. And then he had, what's he done here? Storm to win, Coates to score a try. Penrith to win, Ford to score a try. Manly to win, Turbo to score a try. None of that happened. He was up.
Manly won.
Well done.
Turbo got injured too. Jeez, I'm good.
Exactly. Boy, you're really good. 1750 up for the week and 782.50 up for the season.
It's got to be first place.
It's yes, it is actually. Surly, one bet was head to head. That was his best bet.
What do you mean one bet?
One win. Sorry.
Oh,
Let's say he's lost the rest. We're not doing this last year. Like we'll carry over.
Olakau'atu, no. DCE into Olakau'atu, both to score tries, no. And then he had Olakau'atu and Hudson Young and Crichton all to score tries. I think it was his second row special or something like that. No good. He was upset.
DCE should have scored. Jason Saab not passing to him when he was getting tackled around the ankles.
Correct.
Luckily he got out of it, but DCE was just standing there.
He was up $17.50 for the week, and he is up $525. $500.25 for
okay, pal?
Oh, fuck. I was going to say something else and stop myself. Right, Carl was
up $17.50
bet.
for the week.
DCE to score a try, no good. Was the win. Was over 21.5.
Tick tick.
And Taruva to score more tries than Tuopiki. No good. And then looks like you went for almost a perfect round.
Yeah, and it was not perfect.
Panthers to win, Roosters to win, Storm to win, Broncos, Manly and Waz, no good. Up $17.50 for the week. And Carl is up $14.75 for the year.
Flying.
Teddy, here we go.
Did he have the Warriors as best bet?
No, he had the Dolphins plus 13.5.
Never in doubt.
Yes, very good. He had Tedesco to score a try, no good. And then he had his same game multi, Turbo, 2 tries into Garrick, into Olakau'atu.
Have you factored in the justice refund for that one?
The justices you missed. And Dragons at $3.05. Nice win there. So Teddy was up 96.25 for the week. And
how many multiples of 17.50 is that, Paul?
Oh, was that 96 what?
96.25.
I'll do the math.
And he's up $525.25 for the year.
5.5, Ted.
I had the Bunnies plus 10.5, my best bet. Nice. Britton Nakora to score a try, no good. Turbo, Garrick, and Addo to score tries.
Wow,
no
you
good.
guys really put the hex on Turbo.
Oh boy, did we. And I had the Rabbitohs plus the points into Dolphins plus the points.
Oi.
They got in. I was up $110.25 for the week, and I'm up $88.25 for the year. Boom.
So
everyone is in the positives.
Hey, good.
That low roar you heard across about Australia and New Zealand on Sunday afternoon when Turbo went down was every bookmaker in Australia who offers New Zealand who offers same game multis. Just like we've just kept all the cash.
Fill up. Nice
Well,
work.
and also, what about Turbo not scoring when he was pretty much over the line and passing to Lee Halapawadi
Yes.
before the injury? Unbelievable.
That's a good segue into the good, the bad, and the ugly. As we always do, Teddy, we will start with you. What did you find good this weekend?
Well, I'm trying to change up the nature of the show by not just picking the Bulldogs every week. So you guys don't just pick the Warriors every week. So I won't mention that the Bulldogs are 4-0 and their last undefeated team. The good for me is Penrith losing 3 on the trot. I'm not going to declare the streak over, but it is fantastic watching Penrith struggle. After the years of domination, it is fantastic watching them struggle. So they got blown apart by South early. And still plenty of fight coming back. I'm certainly not declaring that they can't win the premiership. They had no Edwards, no Cleary, so plenty of excuses. But lost 3 on the trot for the first time in a long time and conceded 28 plus for the 3rd straight game. To put that in context, from 2020 to 2024, they conceded 28 or more 7 times in 5 seasons.
Wow.
Amount of done it the last 3 weeks.
Well,
Back on. Can't win. Can't come back from this.
Oh, boy. Get on now.
Yeah, I'm good. What price are we getting? Hundreds, is it, Carl? Hundreds of Carl bet?
$7.
Hundreds of cow bet. I'll just have a little look-see. Blake, what did you find good?
just piggybacking off Teddy, I think the good, even though it was tough, shows we've got the best sport in the world. Like, form actually means nothing in this competition. It very rarely does, shall I say, because any team can beat anyone. You just mentioned Penrith, the 4-time champs, but you go to a Roosters losing to the Titans. There was a couple of games. The Storm Yes, they've lost Jerome Hughes and Meany, but losing to the Dragons, I mean, people would have had those picked and picked correctly, but I just think it's the best sport in the world, the most competitive, where any team can beat anyone. That's the good.
Just looping back, Penrith now $7 to win the comp. But I may have just found a gem. Most losses, you can still get $2.75 for Parramatta. What do you find good, Paul?
I found Leka Halasima very, very good. That was, and I watched Sean Johnson on that podcast that he does, and he explained it very, very nicely as well. The actual setup of that try and the other components to it. The Taintu Opiki recognising that it was good to go the blind side and coming around in behind the ruck and making the extra man. It was just a wonderful, and he almost broke. Was that Bird that was coming across? He almost broke his ankles when he stepped inside.
Did he explain why he decided to get all Larry from 10 metres out and didn't bring it under the 6 when it was a pretty important kick?
Man was gassed. Man was gassed. He just runs.
Man was gassed from waving his finger in the air, taunting the Tigers.
That was also my good. I was on a boys' trip, golf trip, and we were watching that.
Another one.
Another one. And, really getting up and in support of Leka big time at the pub watching that. The bad, Teddy.
Good luck, Newcastle. I had to buy last week, but would have been carrying the corner seeing Dylan Brown turn in another completely inept, missing in action performance. His performance was a disgrace the other day. Like in a game where I thought Parramatta tried hard. I thought for the most part they had, for a team that's been well outclassed and is well outclassed, and their big signing Zach Lomax having an absolute stinker of a game, nothing landing. They just needed someone to step up and give that team a bit of direction. And rather than Dylan Brown, putting his hand up, he ran the ball once in the second half. Like, that is completely unacceptable for a running 5'8", and particularly a team missing their star halfback. He left all of that to the number 7, and it was very, very poor. I thought 1.3 million a year, please. That bloke will be playing reserve grade next week if I was the Eels coach.
I bet you won't be. When's Moses back?
I won't be the Eels coach. It's exactly right. I would never accept a job at Parramatta, ever.
I'd love to get onto a podcast where Jason Rolls and Trent Barrett are saying Nick Tedeschi is the coach and his coaching record is.
Well, it will never be as bad as those two.
When's Moses back?
3 months.
Okay. Long time to strap in Eels fans. Blake, you're bad.
Just the news out of the Warriors. I think when there's hope there, you've won 3 in a row. You're starting to look good. And yes, lost Dylan Walker to Parramatta, which is a huge loss, I think. But also the news about Tamati Martin and Charles Nickel-Clockstead. I think if Tamati does leave, the depth just starts to shorten. And it does get scary then if there is 1 or 2 injuries. So it's just bad for me that there's a lot of news about players leaving and not really gaining too much at the moment. So just be a little watch over the next month or so.
That's one of the hard things for the Warriors, isn't it? Like, it's very hard to attract talent. So when players leave, it does create a vacuum. That kind of has to be filled by people coming through.
Kalen Ponga's coming though, so it's fine.
Well, that sort of makes me think that there's someone, they're clearing a bit of space. I don't know.
A lot of space. What's your bad, Paul?
Leka Halasima.
Did you prep for this podcast?
Well,
I'm pretty sure Paul watched the last 5 minutes of the Warriors game last week, and that was all we saw.
You've got to understand the game situation.
Can you speak into the microphone?
What? I can see that. Look at it. It's like...
Okay.
You can see the microphone. Doesn't mean you're speaking into it.
You've got to be aware of the game situation. Like, they were down 6 at the time. You've got to make the kick as easy as possible for Metcalf. So instead of, as Teddy said, waving the finger in the air, get as close to the posts as you can. In the end, it didn't matter, but I think it's something that he can work on.
The bloke who's completely unaware of the podcast situation, the microphone situation, telling a bloke he's got to be aware of the game situation. I've heard it all now.
My bad. The high shot crackdown that's coming. We all know how the NRL crackdowns go. We're going to see 3 weeks of sin bins and crap, and then it's going to be nothing. I want to know what's the line for sin bins this week.
Well, definitely larger than last weekend. That's for sure.
Well, as I say, whatever it is, take the overs.
Yeah, I agree. This will, like you say, this will last 2 or 3 weeks and it'll all be over.
Yeah. So lucky the Warriors on a bye this week. The ugly, Teddy.
How Chris Butler is allowed to be anywhere near an NRL game is beyond me. And he managed to make a complete hash of both his first on-field performance of the year and the video. How he could not award Moses Leota a try. Now, I was on Souths. I was on the under. There's no financial interest in this one for me. I would have given that try 100 times out of 100. But Klein set it up, and the reason the video ref's there is to get all the video evidence. Chris Butler is just refusing to overturn the most obvious things, including the Jason Saab knock-on against the Warriors, the one on the dead ball in that same game. The commentators were rightfully stunned by it. And then he gets his first game. For some reason, he gets given the best game of the round, even though he's the worst referee in the comp by panels. Lost complete control of that Bulldog-Sharks game. But then for him to send up that Jesse Ryan as a penalty try, there wasn't a single Sharks player claiming it was a penalty try. It was almost laughed out of the bunker. He could not have been quicker to overturn that. But he just has no idea, no feel for the game. And it turns out I'm completely right because he's been dropped from both bunker and on-field duties this week. So, well done, too.
Like, you're ugly.
Mine's just going off. Mine's going off yours, Carl. There's a couple of ugly things. Obviously, the players diving, but now also every head high is potentially going to be a sin bin, but dependent on mitigating factors. Mitigating factors. Can someone explain to me mitigating?
Well, the worst part for me with that mitigating thing is that, yeah, I understand people falling and stuff like that. There should be, some kind of understanding around that. But I hate how penalties are determined by the injury. If you hit a guy in the head with the vicious swinging arm, you should count yourself lucky that you didn't break his jaw and get sent off and cop 8 weeks. It shouldn't be, you're not going to be sin bin because you didn't break his jaw. You're not going to be sin bin because you didn't force him off the field for a HA. If you do a foul act, you should be penalised for the act, not the result of the act.
So, and this is where it's going to get tricky because you're going to have players getting hit high that will, or lay down or whatever, will get sent to the HIA. Players stay on the field. Players going to get sent for 10. So why I'm saying it's ugly is because we're going to be here every week saying, was that mitigating? What was the factors to it? Like it's just going to be ugly. And
this is going to be Magic Round 2022 all over again.
Yeah, it's going to be very ugly in the coming weeks.
Yep. You're ugly, Paul.
Well, it's sort of...
Look, he's pretty handsome for his age, Carl.
It was very much along the same lines as Teddy. But it was the bunker and some of the decisions over the weekend, and we could probably make the bunker ugly pretty much every weekend. So
and I will.
Well, I will try and steer away from making the bunker ugly every weekend. But yeah, there were some horrendous decisions, and it's almost as if the call is made on the field, it's going to stay.
Yep. Mine plays into Blake's good, actually. The ladder overall. I went back and looked at our ladder predictions for the start of the season. Between us, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in the right spot currently. Obviously, we're only a few weeks into the season. There's a long way to go. But if you were to, compare the ladder 3 or 4 previous seasons to the current ladder, it's almost a complete flip. It is ugly. And it goes back to what Blake was saying. Anyone can win. It's good to see.
You can say what you like about the ladder. Canterbury on top and Parramatta last. Canterbury unbeaten, Parramatta winless is the greatest ladder you'll ever find. And I would like this ladder framed forever.
The Tigers sitting ninth as well after the record.
I've been there for the last 10 years, Blake. I wouldn't call that.
No, they haven't.
No, they haven't. Teddy, you're actually flying. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. You've got 2 teams bang on and 5 other teams in the top 8 that you had in the 8. Paul's got 2 teams bang on and 2 more teams in the top 8. I've only got 1 bang on plus 3 more in the top 8. Long way to go, but
Early days, though. Early days.
early days, it is. Alrighty, let's move on to the grid for the Tuesday, 1st of April.
Not a good one.
Holy.
You are playing at home. Pause the pod. Go find the grid. Get your score. Come back and compare. Across the top, we've got played for the Knights. Matt Cooper, teammate, played for the Titans. Down the left, debuted as a teenager. Played for the Dragons. Has kicked 3+ career field goals.
This was brutal this week.
Teddy, your top row, please.
I have a
red.
another one that I want to send to the Stipes. This is not right.
Well, I'll let you know if we'll send it to the Stipes for. Knights, debuted as a teenager. Jared Mullen, 1.93. Matt Cooper, teammate, debuted as a teenager. Daniel Vito, 2.15.
Oh, the great man.
And Titan, debuted as a teenager. Brain, 0.55. Jordan Rankin.
Nice.
Yep. Debuted as a teenager. Knights, Owen Craigie, 0.76.
One of the greats, Owen Craigie.
Great, wow. Matt Cooper's teammate, Chase Stanley, 1.98. And also, like Teddy, Jordan Rankin, 0.55 brain.
I'll go next. You can bring us home today.
Oh, gee.
Knights teenager Tamana Tahu, 1.97. Matt Cooper teammate, David as a teenager, the great Mark Gasnier, 2.68. And Titan teenager Keanu Kinney, Wizard, 0.37.
Hey.
Cooper Vuna, Wizard, 0.41. Darius Boyd, 7.66.
Is that Mudley?
Wacky races.
Scott, he's gone. We've lost him.
I'll get you.
Scott Prince, 3.46.
Oh, I'm gone.
Well, you're up, Mudley.
Knights, Dragons, Bushranger, Kirk Reynoldsson, 1.92. Matt Cooper teammate, Dragons, great Darren Tracy, 0.42. And I will say my next answer, I think, has got the biggest disparity between how good I thought it was and the score I got. Dragons, Titans, Michael Henderson, thought it might be a 0.2 or 0.3, 6.83. Michael Henderson.
Household name.
I thought I nailed that.
Knights and Dragons, Wes Nagama, 2.07. Matt Cooper, teammate from the Dragons. Famous Amos Roberts, 0.86.
Oh.
And I also thought this one would have been a lot less. Titan and Dragon, Will Matthews, 9.33.
you got more stitched up than I did.
Henderson and Matthews sounds like an accounting company. A very well-known one, too. Knights, Dragons, Wizard, Alex McKinnon, 1.08. Matt Cooper, teammate from the Dragons, Piggy Riddell, 0.9.
Oh.
And Titans, Dragons, Khalifa Faifai Loa, 5.19.
I thought of him. I thought there's no way Michael Henderson's going to be more than Khalifa 5.5.
David Clemmer, 100.
I don't think he played for the Dragons.
I I'm sorry, he didn't update it between Tuesday and
Well,
between Sunday and Tuesday.
said played a game for the Dragons, played a game for the Knights. He's done both. So I want my 0.03.
Well, David Clemmer probably would have been about 12. So,
Well, how could he? Because not even the organisers remembered that he had played last week. So, no, that's wrong. Jason Riles, 1.24. And Khalifa Fai Law, 5.19. Funny story about Khalifa. I was working on the trading desk, I think it was back in 2010, and the contact centre came through and said, there's a caller on the line. He wants Khalifa Fai Law added to the try scorers in the St. George game. And I had a look and I went, he's not in the team. He's not even on the interchange. He's not on the bench. And this was on a Thursday, and they were playing on the Sunday, I think. And I said, no, I'm not putting him in.
Should you be telling the story?
Yeah.
I can only see what I've got a very firm favourite as to who the caller is.
And so about 20 minutes later, they come back. No, he's called back again. It's his uncle. Wayne Bennett's told him he's starting. They want him added, and so I put him in. And he started.
Did you get a try?
I don't think he did.
Wow.
Oh, no.
The integrity unit's about to start making your phone call right now.
You know how I said, should you be telling this story? I don't know if you should have. Wow.
I love it, Carl, when someone else is causing trouble for you.
You know how you're not coming back, Ted? We might not all be coming back.
It's all because of Khalifa Fai Law's uncle.
Khalifa Fai Law on debut did not score. Scored a double in his second game.
Oh,
Okay, there we go. We're safe. I don't know. Just give us your last row, Teddy.
Last row, Knights, 3+ field goals at the great Andrew Johns, 5.80. Matt Cooper, teammate, 3+ field goals. This dickhead has screwed me again. Trent Barrett, 20.97. And Titans, 3+ field goals. Aiden Caesar, 16.07.
Oh,
Tough last row.
I think I could have snuck the win here.
I knew Bolton. I knew.
there were only like 7 or 5 possible answers for a couple of those.
It's very tough. I'll go on Joey as well, 5.80 from the Knights. Matt Cooper teammate was Willie Peters, 6.38.
Oh, and best coach in Super League right now.
He is. And the Titans, Jamal Fogarty, 10.07.
Oh, jeez, how is he?
Also, Andrew Johns, 5.8. This was my last square. I was like, we just got to get this in the clubhouse. This one's going to cost me. Matt Cooper teammate, 3+ career field goal. Nathan Feen, 29.87. Yeah. Titan, 3+ field goals. Tanner Boyd, 6.26.
That's a great one.
How is he?
How's he played 3 games alone?
Jared Mullen, 8.86. Jamie Soward, 32.8. Aiden Caesar, 16.07.
Oh, wow. You should get like bonus points. If you can get the highest score in every square, you should get like 1,000 points taken off.
Well, I assume that's what Paul was chasing. Matt Cooper teammate Darius Boyd.
All right, totals.
Someone who's landed on the moon, Neil Armstrong. Cheers, Paul.
Oh, gee, I'm going to miss you, Teddy.
Totals, Teddy.
Total 56.6.
Oh, smoked it.
Like
37.8.
I'll take silver, 54.1.
76.1.
976.1.
175.8.
No, but
is what I
David
can
Clemmer
see.
would have been a 0.03 unicorn, and then I would have.
No.
So,
Right.
can we just get these stats updated, please?
It doesn't matter if he was a 0.03. You still run last by 20 points.
Alrighty. Yeah, that's the grid done for another week. All right, head-to-head picks. Quickly last week. Not great. Teddy, well, better than I thought. Teddy went 4 from 8. The rest of us went 3 from 8. This week, around the room, give me your head-to-head picks. Raiders, $2.35. Sharks, $1.60. Teddy.
Canberra.
Blake?
Canberra.
Raiders. Oh, am I?
You go, man.
Raiders.
I'll have the Raiders too. Panthers $1.22. Cowboys $4.25.
Panthers.
Penrith.
Panthers.
Panthers. Rabbitohs $1.65. Roosters $2.25.
South.
Roosters.
Bunnies.
Bunnies. Parramatta Eels $2.40. Dragons $1.57.
Parramatta.
Wow.
Yeah, Teddy, I like it. I'm Parramatta too.
Dragons.
Dragons. Titans $1.48. Dolphins $2.65.
Titans.
Dolphins.
Titans.
Titans. I said I'm off the Dolphins until they prove me wrong.
They
Let's
did prove you wrong.
Huh?
They covered last week.
They haven't won a game.
Doesn't matter. They're starting to cover. That's what's important.
Broncos $1.14. Tigers $5.80.
Broncos.
Broncos.
What? Gee, Broncos.
Broncos. One game and he's off the bandwagon. Wow. Seagulls $2.45. Storm $1.55.
Manly.
Melbourne.
We've got him on half speed here.
I'll go Storm.
Storm. Dogs $1.46. Knights $2.75.
The unbeaten Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs.
Doggies.
Dogs.
Dogs. I think we went 8 from 8 the same there, Paul.
Do it.
That's not good for anyone. Alrighty. The detailed games we're going to look at this week: the Raiders versus Sharks, the Panthers v the Cowboys. I did have Broncos Tigers, but I'm going to change it to Bunnies Roosters,
Good man.
and then the Seagulls Storm. So we'll start with the Raiders, $2.35 versus the Sharks, $1.60. Raiders are 3.5-point underdogs at home. The total is 46.5. Morgan Smithies back for the Raiders. Kale Ero and Talakai out for the Sharks. Hazelton back. Teddy, what else have you got for us?
Yeah, some big outs for the Sharks. I thought they were really exposed last week with Euro out in particular. And, of course, Talakai not being up there to cover, which he would normally have filled in at the centre. So, a little worry. Cronulla have a very good record against the Raiders. They've won the last 3, all by 14 plus. But home underdogs, rounds 5 to 8, cover at 63%. It's just a small drop from the rounds 1 to 4. Canberra covered 6 of 8, getting a start of at least 4 points. 14-8 against the spread of conceding 30 plus. So it's a nice little bounce back spot for Ricky. I thought they were very, very poor in Townsville last week, but it was about 158% humidity. So probably no team is less suited to go up to that humidity than Canberra. So happy to forgive that. The short turnaround is a slight concern, but Cronulla, look, they typically beat up on bad teams and struggling against good teams. I suspect Canberra probably more bad than good, but they have covered just 4 of their last 11 as an interstate favourite. With the injuries, they've gone in and out of games all year. I'm not sure Nico's playing that well at the moment. I'd much rather be with Canberra getting the 4.5 points here than not. So I'll be with the Raiders. Probably not a huge amount of confidence, but home underdogs at least a try this time of year. I'll be with them all. So Raiders for me.
Have you got anything on the total for this game?
Definitely lean towards the under. In this one, 3 of the last 4 have gone under. After some huge scoring rounds 1 and 2, I might be wrong on this one. I think like 11 of the last 16 games have gone under the total. 11 or 12 have gone under the total. So numbers have gone up too big. 23 and 14 the under. Canberra off a loss. 13 and 7 when they're at home off a loss. and the under is 7-4, and the Sharks are interstate favourites. So I'll be playing the under in this one for sure.
That's what I like to hear. Blake, where are you leaning here?
Yeah, Raiders. Look, I think there's teams you just back at home, and Raiders one of them. They're just different beasts at home. They would not be happy about the last 2 weeks, how poorly they have played, but getting the Sharks back at home. Horsburgh at 13, I love. I love Horsburgh at 13. It's a scary pack to start off with. I think they're going to try and bully them early doors. And I think not enough is spoken about Jamal Fogarty's factor to this team. His kicking games, to me, is one of the highest in the league. His kick decisions, his kick choices, and his placements are right up there with the best. So I think the Raiders get this job done down there in Canberra.
Yeah, nice. Paul Teddy said that the Sharks have won 3 straight, but the Raiders actually won 9 straight before that.
And first of all, there's a couple of things I like about this that favour the Raiders. The game's been played in Canberra, and I was speaking with former All Black Piri Wipu yesterday on the Pick and Go podcast. Check it out. And he said Canberra, one of the worst places ever to go and play footy. So he just says it's one of the most boring places, and the guys just get sort of antsy.
Fun little fact, I actually went and saw a Super 15 or whatever it was rugby final in Canberra about 25 years ago. I had to wear 3 pairs of socks. It was that cold, and I've never been so bored in my life. So, Canberra, not a great place to watch footy.
So there's that in terms of for the Raiders, but also I think Kale Edel is a huge out for the Sharks. You could argue he's been in the top 2 centres so far over the first 4 rounds of the season. He's been very, very good for the Sharks.
Yep, I like the Raiders here too, and I keep coming back to a conversation we had pre-season where they don't lose more than 10.5 games in a season.
Just a little stat there. With a lot of talk about the Raiders going all at home. They might win games, but they're 3-7 against the spread in the last 10 at home. So they should have been big, but I'd say that's probably more a record of them as a favourite, maybe not covering rather than as an underdog there. So I think the market's going to change pretty quickly. Well, maybe not quickly, but I think we're going to see this one start less than. It's open 4.5. They're already into, I think, 3.5.
3.5, yeah.
One was going to start a lot closer to the $2.10, $2 mark than what they're at now.
Okay, the next one, Panthers $1.22, Cowboys $4.25. The Panthers are 13.5-point favourites. The total is 50.5. Nathan Cleary is back. Is that going to matter, Teddy?
Well, it's going to matter, but it's not going to matter enough.
Wow.
So this is an utterly ridiculous line. Utterly ridiculous line. Double-digit favourites off a loss over the last 4 years cover at 34%. The Panthers, laying 10 or more points, cover just 3 of their last 13. Nathan Cleary played most of those. Panthers have covered just 1 of their last 6 at combat and 7 of their last 20 when favourite. I can't go anywhere near Penrith. The Cowboys have got a pretty good record now. A caveat on that, the Cowboys have somehow been kissed on the proverbial when they play Penrith and have seemed to get Penrith during Origin every year and get Penrith in the last couple of rounds when Penrith are resting players every year. So they've got a very good record against them. They've won 3 of the last 5, covered 5 of the last 6. But look, I'm very low on the Cowboys this year. I think they're a very bad side. I think they're weak. Penrith have their issues. I think Penrith will come good, but there's absolutely no way I could be laying 13.5 points with the Panthers here. I'm very keen on the Cowboys. I'll be backing the plus. Cowboys covered 7 of 8 on the road, covered 9 of their last 13 in the state, covered 5 of their last 6, getting 10 or more points. I just think the number's too big here. I'm envisioning a game like the Broncos-Dolphins last week where the better team's going to comfortably win the game, but I'd rather have the points.
Blake?
Not much from me here. I think Cleary back is massive. The Cowboys haven't shown me anything this year. Yes, they won last week, but I put that more down to a poor Raiders outfit, and they were there to get beat. Savage passes the ball inside. We've got a tight ball game, and then the Cowboys, are starting to feel the heat. So I've seen nothing out of the Cowboys this year to suggest that they even go close to Penrith here. I think the only thing to watch out for, I know they did it last week, Penrith, whether it's being prepared or being a bit worried. Schneider's on the bench again. Whether that's just cover, obviously they lost Taulao last week, Cleary the week before, so maybe just cover there. But not much from me, but Cleary's back, and I think the Panthers do it comfortably.
Cleary, he's the big thing. Obviously, no Dylan Edwards still. It would be nice to have him back. They've got a few injuries. Brian To'o's out. Scott Sorensen. They've got a few players missing, but the big...
Brian To'o is massive. That is massive as well. With no Edwards or To'o, they set up their entire sets based on those two having first and second carries.
Correct. Yes. It was the same with the Wars when they used to have Big Manu coming back up, bringing the ball back up, first or second. It takes a whole heap of momentum out of that team getting out of their own half. So that's a big out. But with Cleary back, there's enough there for Penrith to get their season back on track.
Yeah, I thought looking at this initially that Cowboys at the points easy, Cleary back. Cowboys, did I say Cowboys? I mean Panthers. Easy. Cowboys are rubbish. Haven't shown me anything. But Teddy, you're pretty convincing with your numbers there.
I agree. The Cowboys have shown nothing. What have the Panthers shown? Well, they did play a full game with Cleary and lost to the Roosters.
But they've got...
that loss is not looking particularly good right now. The Roosters pretty ordinary in 2 straight losses afterwards as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't understand why Blaise Delaney's not in the team. I don't understand why Jack Cole's playing 5'8". I have no idea what he was doing playing Trent Talau at halfback last week when the team was completely different when Brad Schneider was on the field. I think they were plus 18 when Schneider was on the field and minus 28 when he wasn't. Like, it was a big difference there. So, and also, it's also like, I just don't think Ivan Cleary is that worried about winning games this time of year. Like, yeah, he'll want to win the games and get into the finals and be able to rest players and stuff, but it's all about survival of September right now. So, I don't think we're going to see many Penrith blowouts.
Yeah, okay.
In the near future. This is not the Panthers side of the last couple of years. When you look at the back line, there are just not a heap of tries in that side.
And there's probably some less experienced punters do look like they've got that money in the bank right from the last 4 years. You look at the Panthers, you look at the line, and yep, easy done.
But even when it cost to last year, when they were double-digit favourites in the back end of last year, they weren't blowing teams away. Right? Teams get older, it becomes less important to blow teams out of the water and they're resting players and stuff like that. But I can't get over the Notoa and Edwards. Dan Laurie was abhorrent last week. And they're 100% going to be targeting the high ball. He just is a completely different player. Generally he's a pretty solid player, but he's not a hard carry man out of his line. He's a Larry player you want in the attack. So, I'm very keen on the Cowboys this week.
Okay. Next one, Rabbitohs $1.65, Roosters $2.25, the Bunnies 3.5 point favourites, the total is 48.5. Latrell Mitchell is back in the centres.
Not in the one.
I thought we were doing Broncos Tigers. Has something changed?
I just told you before that it has changed. And don't try and call me out and blast like that. And I told you, and you said, that's fine. I'm professional. I'm prepared for every game.
I am prepared for every game, but I wasn't going to let you get away with that one, Carl. Latrell back's massive, and I absolutely love what Wayne's done, even though he said he was never going to play Latrell in the centres. Considering their injury toll, to play Latrell in the centres, I think it's fantastic. Joe Gray leading the Dally M. Gray's been great, and I would 100% be looking for a way to be playing Joe Gray and Latrell in the same team. Give Joe Gray the kick returns, the carries from his own half, and let Latrell roam in attack, because that's going to be the absolute key for me. So we might see a bit of that this week. And also, Latrell's hatred of the Roosters always makes these games nasty, makes them aggro. I'm very much looking forward to what comes out of this one. So don't have a strong betting view on this one. Roosters have won the last 4. Souths have covered 5 straight this year. Probably one of the more underrated teams in the market. I think that's probably going to change with Latrell back, but covered 6 of 7 at a call. And teams off playing Penrith cover at 59% over the last 4 years. Roosters covered just 1 of 10 at a course, so not a venue they like playing at, but they have covered 11 of 15 off a loss. Leaning towards South more on look and feel than anything else. I'm kind of no Radley is a worry for the Chooks. I think particularly his link play. He's not Isaiah Yeo, but he kind of tries to play that game a little bit. I'm not sure Nat Butcher's got that in. I think Butcher's better on an edge. Leaning towards. Sorry?
Connor Watson back.
Connor Watson back is big. They certainly missed him last week for the creativity there. Could not find points in them last week. No matter how much field position they had, they just could not find points last week. So, lean towards South in this rivalry, but you just know both teams will be up for it. No strong views in this one. Maybe the over. If you're having a bet, over's hitting 5 straight South games against bottom 9 teams, 16 and 12, and they're scoring 28 plus. The over 11 and 5, and the Roosters are off conceding 30 plus. So. Maybe a lean the over. 8 of the last 10 have scored 42 plus between these two, but not super keen to be with too many overs at the moment either. So lean South, lean over, but no confident play.
And the average total in the last 10 is 50 on the nose between these.
Which is a bit rare for a rivalry game, but in the last two games last year, the Roosters scored 48 and 36 of those. So that has been one way going more often than not.
Blake?
I'm going to flip and flop. I'm going to coin toss this. I reckon I'll change about 4 or 5 times before kickoff. I tipped the Roosters before. Look, Latrell's, to me, I've said it before the last couple of years. I think he obviously has the potential to be the best player ever. He's got everything. He's got the size, the speed. It's just him wanting to do that. In this game, look, the reason I tipped the Roosters, I just love the pack. I love Nafahu White. I thought with the added responsibility he's had since Jared's left, the last 2 weeks especially, he's been exceptional.
Hasn't he been fantastic? He's been really great.
Mate, he's been carrying their pack, especially with Lindsay Collins out, who came back last week from the bench. I think Spencer goes back to his normal bench role, which will help them, give them that second kick. And Wong and Crichton with Butcher at the back. I just reckon their pack's a lot better than the Bunnies, and I think Connor Watson will go to work around 10 minutes either side of 10 minutes before half time and probably 20 minutes before full time, and just pick apart the Bunnies pack. But like I said, I've tipped the Roosters at the moment, but I could change about 3 or 4 times before kickoff.
You mentioned White, but I thought someone deserves a call out off on the other side. I thought Tavita Totola, his game back last week, was exceptional. I think South really missed him over the back end of last year, so he's back for his second game, and Lachlan Hubland missed last week as well. I think he's been a fantastic signer for the Bunnies. But it's a hard game, and you've got to be with Blake on this one. Like, you're probably going to change 4 or 5 times full game time.
I'm glad Carl changed it from the Broncos Tigers. I was a bit upset. Obviously, this is a rivalry game, mate. This is a huge game. Don't know.
I wish you get the Broncos Tigers, because Chip's in Tigers Plus this week for anyone listening.
Blake's listening.
He's off the bandwagon. What do you like in this game, Paul? The Bunnies game, not the Tigers game.
Oh, when did you say that? Anyway. I love the Bunnies here. I really, really do. And Latrell Mitchell, if there's one person who can get the best out of Latrell Mitchell, it's Wayne Bennett. And I have no doubt we are going to see a huge, huge game and from Latrell. And I just like the way that back line sets up. I love Jamie Humphreys has just been super through this first month or so of the season. And he's been the dominant half, I think, over Cody Walker. And we still haven't seen the best of Cody Walker this season. If he starts picking his game up, this team could go boom. So I really, really do like the chances of the Bunnies this weekend.
This is a tough spot for me because I like the Bunnies too. And looking back at the table earlier, I actually put the Bunnies second last this year. And I said on the pod when I tipped them that they might be 1-7 through 8 or 2-6. It's Blake sort of Dragons areas that is, yeah. So tough for me, but yeah. Last game that we're going to look at: Seagulls $2.45, Storm $1.55. The line is 4.5. The total 47.5. No Turbo for a month, and Jerome Hughes named on the extended bench for the Storm. Teddy, you said you like the Seagulls here.
I don't like the Seagulls. I love the Seagulls here.
Okay.
Absolutely love the plus. We'll be backing them straight out. And we'll probably have a little something on the 13 plus as well, I think. Manly have won 3 straight against the Storm at Brookvale. Won 3 of the last 4. Home underdogs went to 4 plus 63%. 21 and 13 against the number at Brookvale. Manly covered 6 of 8 off a win of 13 plus when playing at the ground. 5 of the last 7 day games. And the knock on the Storm here, interstate teams $2 or shorter, often interstate games. So back-to-back interstate games are very tough to cover at 31% last 4 years. So very tough to go back-to-back interstate. All over Manly this week. They have. I'll be praying for as much rain as possible because the slower the track, the more the Storm get brought back to the pack. And we saw that last week at Cogger. That's just where you're going to get the Storm. They're going to be very hard to beat on a fast hard deck with everyone playing. I expect Hughes to play after being named in the extended squad, but they've got enough talent in the back line to match Melbourne. If the pack can hold their own, which I don't think that I think they can. I'm just loving Jazz Tavona starting games at hooker. Not the most creative, but for that softening up period, he's just the absolute gun to be out there. So, really like where Manly are at, and I'll be taking the plus with a great deal of confidence.
Yeah.
Okay. Blake?
Look, I spoke before about teams you just back at home, and it's usually Manly, are one of those teams you back at home. The only reason I went the Storm is because Bellamy's put doubt in my mind with naming Jerome Hughes in the 22 jersey. They're a completely different team. If Hughes doesn't play, I think that Manly will most likely win because the game plan then gets simple. Like the Dragons did. You just stack Cameron Munster side because Wishart, he is a great player who can fill in a lot of positions, but he's a genuine runner. He gets the ball and runs. There's not too many options that get played to his side. It's more of a setup side, and then they shift to Cameron Munster. So if Hughes plays, I think I'm going to I do like the Storm in a close one, but if he's out and that 22 he doesn't run out, I think the Seagulls get the job done.
Paul?
Blake's convinced me. He has. If Hughes is in the starting side, I'll go the Storm. If he's not, I'll go the Seagulls. That backline is very, very, even without Turbo, that Manly backline is still very, very good. And DCE is still playing at the top of he's playing some of the best footy of his life.
Funny that one has a big contract up.
He just turned
some correlation between being up for sale and playing well I've found over the years in sport.
Well, you better pick your game up, Teddy.
Luckily, I've been signed to a multi-year deal at Insane.
Yeah, Stone's Glass Houses, big fella.
It was nice working with you, boys.
You use the term working with very loosely there.
I don't know. I just like the Storm here. I think that it's not often that Bellamy names someone on the extended bench if they're not going to play.
He's not a game player like that. Hughes will play.
Sorry, yeah. So, I like the Storm. All right. Betting. $150 to spend each week. $50 best bet, $50 best try scorer, $25 same game multi, and $25 on anything else. Teddy, where is your money going this week?
Best bet, Parramatta plus 4.5 against the Dragons. Eels are a super bet. Be home underdog. Dragons, just some numbers around the Dragons. They've covered just 9 of their last 27 off a win, and just 2 of their last 8 were favoured away from Cogger or Wollongong. So chips in the Eels plus, as sickening as that is to say.
Just the last time, Teddy, you said Eels plus is better the weekend morals was against the Tigers. They beat by 40 or something. Yeah.
You know, what's a real win-win situation for me, Blake, because if I get beat, I'm going to see Parramatta get flogged, so I'm very happy with that too. So, try scorer, I'm going to go with Latrell. He's scored, I think, 41 tries in 54 games in the centres at club level. We all know his record at rep level. And that combo with Cody on the left, I think, is going to go well. Unfortunately, they're not running at the rugby union player because that would be an open gate. That Robert Toyer rookie is going to have his hands full there. As an aside, you want to back whoever's against that Mark Katina Nazi or whatever his name is, the rugby union player, because he cannot tackle. He cannot tackle for the life of him. So, on brand though for a rugby union player. Same game multi. Tino Farsell and Moali, Jack Bostock both to score a try, $7.83. Found SGM's hard this week with a lot of under schemes likely. And the other bet, I'm going to go 4-leg multi here. Canberra plus 4.5. North Queensland plus 13.5. West Tigers plus 17.5. Manly plus 4.5 at $12.14. Here's a quick trivia question for you. Might have got last week. How many games have the Broncos played since they last covered at Suncorp?
Don't do
They
this.
failed to cover 12 straight, is the answer. They failed to cover 12 straight games at Suncorp. They have covered just, where is the number here? They have covered just 3 of their last 15 as a favourite.
So they're due to...
The market has got them so far wrong, it's not funny. Like, yep, they probably are a good team, but yep, they probably will make the 8. They are not nearly as good as everyone thinks they are. Tigers, no Luai, hurts, but plus 7.5, please. That's a great bet.
Wow, wait.
Interesting.
Mic drop from Ted.
Yeah. Write that down. My best bet this week, the Raiders, $2.35. We already all spoke about that. I think all 4 of us tipped them too. So that's my best bet. Try scorer, followed you in, Teddy. I have Trell Mitt written down at $2.05. My same gamer, the Dolphins game, I've gone the hammer to score. Dolphins 1-12 and under 52.5 points at $11.25. And my other bets, I've got the Roosters, the Eels, and Manly all plus 10.5 at $3.28.
Okay. My best bet, little double, Bunnies, Dogs, head-to-head at 240. Best try scorer, also Latrell Mitchell at $2.05. Same game multi. Teddy going to like this. Jesse Arthurs, Reece Walsh, Katoni Staggs, all any time at $4.90.
Oh, hopefully they can get to 18 points here, Carl.
Don't get to 18 points. Don't worry about that. And 25 on anything else. It's a line total double. Raiders plus 3.5, under 46.5, $3.30. What do you got, Paul?
I've got Raiders plus 3.5 at $1.90. I've got Liam Martin to score a try at $2.85. I've got a same game multi in the Bunnies game. South to win, Latrell to score a try, and Dom Young to score a try. Comes out to $5.90. And then for my any bet, I've gone with the lowest scoring team for round 5, and I'm taking the Cowboys at $7.25.
Okay. And I've got Surly's bets here too. His best bet, Canberra Sharks and Manly Storm, either team to win by less than 12.5 points. Little multi there at $2.97.
Surprised he's not on the Warriors 13 plus against the bye.
Home. It is home. Try scorer, he's got Alamote first, second, or third at $3.15. Same game multi, Raiders, Savage, and Mulitalo at $6.93. And then his other bet, Gutherson, Cobbo, and Curran all to score any time at $14.50.
I like that Curran bet there. He's playing on he'll be on the right edge. He's got a very good record scoring when he starts on edge. Josh Curran, so big over this way.
Who else was it? Gutherson
and Selwyn Cobbo.
Interesting.
Jeez, I've got a lot of singles plays this week now.
Yeah.
Aaron, Tigers.
There he is. Okay.
And every back to Tigers plus and every Broncos try scorer by the sounds of it.
Gonna be a close game. A lot of points.
More singles.
So what we've got between us, Cobbo, Staggs, Walsh, and Arthurs. Is that right?
Yep. They're all going to score. Didn't say the Tigers can't cover. Might be 60 to 40.
Couldn't believe in the Tigers.
Can't be 60 to 40 because the Tigers won't cover then.
Believe in the Tigers.
No, they're gross. They lost last week. They're done.
Yeah, they're also a good team, but they should have won that game.
Did you guys hear that?
25 to go.
Yeah, stop. Teddy said they lost to a good team. How good is that?
Warriors are a good team.
Nice.
I don't know if you noticed. I think I picked the Warriors to be 8th or 9th this year. Was it Cup?
I've got it right here. You tipped them to be
Close. I
7.
backed them
7.
7th. I backed them to make the 8 anyway. So
There you go.
I'm believing this year. I'm believing this year, Carl.
Good. No better way.
They've been very good to be 2 of the last 3 weeks.
No better way to finish the podcast. Blake, thank you very much for joining us.
See you again soon. Hopefully I did enough to impress coming off the bench, and I'll wear my flannel pole collared shirt next week.
This has got, was it tool time vibes?
How boring.
Well, unfortunately, Pamela Anderson isn't here to show off the tools there.
All right, Al. Enjoy your holiday.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Sí, bueno.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And to all the punters out there, thank you for listening again. We will be back next week to do it all again.
Except for Teddy.
Except for Teddy.
Yeah.